AI with Kai is brought to you by Harris Vacations. Family owned and operating on the Alabama Gulf Coast, they help homeowners maximize their rental income while delivering 5-star guest experiences. Learn more at ourgulfshoresvacation.com.
The answer is yes. What can AI do? Yes. How do we get there? We can't do everything right now. So let's start with one task, one idea, and see if that works. And then let's refine from there.
This is AI with Kai. Practical AI for real business leaders. We break down what matters, talk with people using AI in real businesses, and share one idea you can use right away.
It's another great day to talk about AI. I'm Kai Gray, your host of AI with Kai. I'm here with producer extraordinaire Tim Scott.
Hey, Kai. What's up, man?
And together, we're ready to get this started.
The Rundown. 5 AI stories you need to know right now.
First up, the White House rolled out its National AI Legislative Framework. This is the administration's playbook for how they want Congress to regulate AI going forward. The big idea is one national standard that would override a lot of the stricter conflicting state laws. And that's making it very complex for the AI providers. And this is what the AI lobby has really been pushing.
I wonder if they'll use AI to comply.
they better. In fact, they should have AI be negotiating all of this. Next up, Anthropic versus the Pentagon. This is a really big deal. So if you've been paying attention recently, Anthropic, who is the maker of Claude, was listed by the Pentagon as a national security threat. And that was a big deal because it meant that contractors to the DoD and their subcontractors weren't going to be able to use Claude. And so they went to court, and recently a U.S. district judge put an injunction on that, saying that it was more punitive and basically that they weren't a supply chain risk. And if the DoD didn't want to use Claude, they should just stop using it. But it didn't mean that they were a national security threat. Speaking of Anthropic, Xero, the accounting platform with almost 5 million subscribers, and maybe it's the accounting platform you as a business use, announced a multi-year deal with Anthropic to put small business financial data directly inside of Claude. So imagine asking AI, how's my cash flow looking this month? And it actually knows because it's connected to your books. This is a very interesting thing, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this. This is an attempt to integrate with a small business platform. It won't shock me at all if we see an announcement around QuickBooks, right? That Intuit comes out with something very similar. Maybe it's a partnership with OpenAI or something like that.
Is it already here, or will there be a time where you can have your financial information, right, on your own machine and not putting it out there into the interweb space?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the concerns for a lot of people is, is my data secure, especially financial data? If you're using QuickBooks in the cloud or Xero or other accounting packages, you're already putting your financial data in the cloud, right? It's already on the internet. So you've already sort of crossed that threshold. AI feels different to a lot of people, but sort of functionally, it's about the same. But to answer your question, yes, you can absolutely run a model locally on a dedicated computer, and it never leaves your office. The last story is Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman AOC introduced a bill this week to pause the construction of new AI data centers, a full moratorium. And it's a really big deal, I would say, to Southern Alabama, because there's been a lot of backlash to a huge solar farm up in Stockton that was proposed. And that solar farm was dedicated to providing power to a data center in Montgomery that Meta's going to build, right? So this sort of thing has a real world local implication. Now, how far they'll get with this remains to be seen, but I think it's a very interesting thing. I think Congress and a lot of people, quite frankly, are starting to wake up to this idea that, these data centers consume a lot of energy, right? And we got to figure out where we're going to get that energy from and what it's going to do.
And who's going to pay for it.
And who's going to pay for it, right? Absolutely. Like data centers themselves, I don't think are great money makers, right? They don't employ a lot of people. It's great for construction, but if you've ever been inside of a data center, it's just machines. You can think of it as a windowless factory that doesn't need a lot of operators. We obviously need these data centers. They're not going away. We need to figure out, to your point, how we pay for them, where the energy comes from, who they benefit ultimately, and their impact on the community. So do I think this full moratorium is going to stick? I don't think so, right? But the fact that it was even proposed is kind of a big deal.
The Spotlight: How Real Businesses Are Using AI.
All right, this week's Spotlight, we're sitting down with Brian Harris. Brian is the CEO of Harris Vacations, a vacation rental business right here on the Gulf Coast. Welcome, Brian, and thanks for your time today.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Let's start at the top. Tell folks what Harris Vacation does.
Sure. So Harris Vacations is a vacation rental management company based in Gulf Shores. So think about Airbnb, VRBO. We are managing those houses for the homeowner. So we're marketing the houses, we're cleaning the houses, inspecting the houses, we're marketing to the guest to make those reservations, kind of that full service picture. We manage right at 175 properties. We mostly focus on homes in the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and Fort Morgan markets. We have a little bit of Florida, but yeah, there is a lot that goes on in the company. It's a fairly complex process, going from marketing and sales over to asset management in the real estate realm. So a lot of cleaners, maintenance people, inspectors, property managers. It's a big organization.
So a little while ago, you started using AI. You started using it for your business. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that I think a lot of people feel like the train is passing, and they want to be on the train in some way. Kind of felt the same. So we wanted to try to start utilizing it in some fashion. And I think one of the first things that we've had success with is reviewing our reviews.
So these are reviews that your guests are leaving about the houses.
Correct. Right. So, and we're getting, let's say 6,000 reviews, a year. How do you process 6,000 reviews? Right. And we have done various projects. We would, cut the houses into different groups and have different people in the organization read all the reviews for those specific houses and come back with ideas. Like we know there's good information there.
Yep.
And over the years, we've done a very manual process of trying to, squeeze some of that value out. The AI tools that we've utilized has helped us, bring some of that to the surface.
Talk a little bit about that. Like, what are you doing right now?
The first iteration of this was just an experiment. And I think that's where everybody should probably be.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Just experiment. Having conversations with people that understand AI. The joke is, the answer is yes. Right. What can AI do? Yes. Yep. Right.
That's right.
But it's how do we get there? Right. We can't do everything right now. So let's start with one task, one idea, and see if that works. And then let's refine from there, right? And thinking about it, we were really trying to focus on thinking about it in phases. Like, let's just take this one thing and see if we can get a phase one out of it. So phase one for the reviews was literally I was preparing for an owner call, and I knew that we had, let's say, 12 reviews of that property last year. I opened up ChatGPT. I copied all of the reviews. I didn't do any formatting. I just said, will this work? And I pasted it in there, and I said, give me, feedback on this house. And it did. And we've done a lot of iterating off of that, initial concept. But I think one of the key things is just try it.
Yeah,
right? Like
just
give yourself the freedom to have a draft Xero and just try something and see what happens.
I think a lot of people get sort of tied up at that step, right? They think that they need to go into it sort of having already solved the problem.
Right. Let me study coding so then I can start doing
That's
AI.
Right. Yeah.
And the whole point is, and I literally had this conversation with you a couple of years ago, like, hey, Kai, I really think I should learn coding.
Yeah.
And your response to me was, maybe you should just do the things you're good at doing.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that I think that I'm doing, and I've kind of given myself, yes, I am the CEO, but I've kind of given myself the CTO hat, right? So how do I bring AI or technology into the business? And I think one of the roles there is protecting people from, feeling negatively about it at the very beginning.
Yeah. I think that that's a point that I'd love to explore, because I think a lot of leaders of businesses want to adopt AI and they run into resistance from their staff because they're sort of pushing it down, right? They get very excited about it and everyone says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So,
the mandate, I think a lot of times is like, everybody start using AI.
Right.
Right. And we actually had that as one of our, rocks or projects for the last quarter. And it was literally like, use AI and tell us how you used AI. And kind of around the room, nobody was really able to articulate what they had been doing. And I think we maybe set the project up incorrectly. So what we're going back to now is really just having one-on-one meetings. So me and, the director of revenue, right? And it's just, and it's not a, let me show you all the AI things.
Yep.
It's a conversation about what are you doing in your, daily, weekly routine that you feel might be a little bit cumbersome or boring or tedious or, has multiple mouse clicks, or there's a pile of data that we're trying to kind of analyze. And then from that conversation saying, okay, well, we could try this, right? And I always kind of frame it with, we could try this.
Yeah.
And we'll be on the call and I'll, pull up, the screen is like, I've never done this before, but let's try it.
Right. Well, that's your draft Xero mindset.
Yeah.
Which is great. Look at what you're doing all day and then ask AI how it can help you do those things.
Yeah.
Right. Where can it insert itself?
A specific example, we had a situation where we had a tenant and they had a lease. And there was a question about, who's supposed to pay for what, right? And the lease document is, 15 pages, right? My assistant was kind of reviewing, this email thread and, okay, now I need to set aside 30 minutes, Brian, for you to look at the lease and figure out. And I was like, you're in Google Drive looking at the lease, right?
Right.
She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why don't we just see if Gemini can find the answer for us? And she's like, what is that and where do I go to do that?
Right.
And so I'm literally for her, and she was very willing to try it, but for her, it was literally like, what is the icon and where is it on the screen?
Right. That first
step.
step.
I'm like, yeah. So literally first step of, upper right-hand corner, click on the thing that looks, I don't even know how to explain it, like a diamond or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
a universal sign for AI.
Right. So it pops open the little sidebar, and and she's like, well, do I have to talk to us? Like, oh, I can just type in here. I'm like, yeah, just type in, according to the lease, who's supposed to pay for the electric bill? And she did that. And it said, on page 15, section da-da-da-da, the tenant's supposed to pay for it. I'm like, okay, well, just take that section right there and email that back to them.
Yep.
And that saved, me 30 minutes of sitting down and finding the lease.
And also the latency between, you getting scheduled to do that, right? May have been a day or two before you actually got
let's just
got
ask
to that.
and see if it can find it.
Right.
And it did, and it showed us where it was in the document. And, boom, we sent it back to them. And, now we have the continual email thread and they're changing the power bill or whatever. So next time, she gets a question that is, lease specific, she knows now that she can open that in Google Drive and open up Gemini and say, okay, according to the lease, what does it say about X?
Right.
And then she can say, okay, she can bring that to me and say, hey, they had a question about their lease, and the lease says this, and it's in this section. Is this what you want me to? So she's already solved it.
Right.
She may want to still get my approval, but she's already done step 2, 3, and 4, right. And we've already gotten to 5, So that's Sable leveling herself up to be more productive in her role because she has a tool that she can now use.
That's right.
So if you have a mindset that's like, okay, I don't want to learn any new tools, right, in my job.
Be a rough life.
Yeah, it's gonna limit you.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna limit you, and it's gonna limit the additional value that you can bring. The frustration sometimes will be like, okay, what's good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, good enough for today is not the same as good enough for 2 years from now, right? Like,
That's
because we may be ahead right now, but if we stop, then we won't be ahead in 2 years.
That's right.
So we have to always keep, kind of pushing forward.
It's going to keep getting better, and you as the user need to grow with it, right? And keep trying things.
Right. The future is here. It's just not evenly distributed, right? Like, I don't know who that quote belongs to,
We
but
should write a book with that title. I like
it
that.
goes. I mean, it's definitely, true, and it's true for, a lot of different facets, but it's definitely true when you're talking about AI and how to use technology in your business. The future's here. It's just, are you going to start using it or not?
Awesome. Well, Brian, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming in. Brian Harris, CEO of Harris Vacations. Check him out if you're looking for Gulf Coast rentals.
OurGulfShoresVacation.com for your vacation, or if you want to invest in real estate on the Gulf Coast.
There you go.
This episode is brought to you by Harris Vacations. If you own a rental property on the Gulf Coast, they handle everything: marketing, bookings, cleaning, maintenance, and guest experience, so you don't have to. And if you're planning a trip, they offer a wide range of homes across Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and Fort Morgan. To learn more or browse available properties, visit OurGulfShoresVacation.com.
The Playbook. One practical way to use AI right away.
Earlier this week, I got a call from someone who said they needed to do a presentation to a larger group, and it was proposed to them. It could be a real video, it could be AI. So there's a couple of ways to go about this. The biggest player in this space is a company called HeyGen. And you can go to heygen.com, and that allows you to record yourself and create a digital avatar.
So you just use your webcam?
You just use your webcam, you set it up. I think the only thing that's important is you want to dress the way you want the video to come out.
So Kyle, we might need to dress you up a little bit more.
Definitely dress me up. Definitely dress me up. I use this quite a bit. It takes, 15 to 20 minutes to do. It's basically training itself on you. And they have this notion of sort of quick avatars where you upload a photo, things like that. Those don't come out very well. What you want to do is do the whole video recording. Now, one thing about them is the voice isn't great. It tries to clone your voice, but it's not great. So head over to 11labs.io and you do a voice clone. Very similar to the video, but it's just voice. And you will read a script and it will learn your voice, and it's really, really good. And you can link those two up. So when you're in HeyGen, you can tell it to use your 11 Labs voice. And that gives you a very good, realistic digital video that you can use going forward. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks to Brian Harris for stopping in. And remember, with AI, today is the worst it's ever going to be.
You're listening to AI with Kai. For more episodes, practical tools, and business insights, visit aiwithkai.com. Follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with someone building a business on the Gulf Coast.